Hi tubers, today I want to talk about something I've been thinking about since I've just lately watched a video by Brene Brown called The Anatomy of Trust. The thing I saw, she was speaking on the Oprah Winfrey's Super Soul TV, and I've been having a lot of thoughts about this. There's a lot more to trust than I actually thought about. If somebody breaks your trust, it can be heartbreaking, and it's not always the really big issues that are the deal breakers. Obviously, there can be things like infidelity, cheating, lying, which obviously are going to break your trust. But then there's the small things that don't seem all that important on the face of it, but they can have a cumulative effect if there's too many of them. It got me thinking about how many people in my life I really 100% trust, and I have to say, there's not been that many that I would trust implicitly. A few friends, a couple of family members, and definitely my mum. I suppose my mum was the one person I could trust pretty much with anything. But there are a lot of people who you give trust to and they don't really deserve it, I would say. But conversely, we have to think about other people, how we could betray other people's trust without really meaning to. And it can be quite small things. It can be you promise to phone a friend and you don't do it, or you promise to go somewhere and it's a horrible rainy night and you don't feel like going, and you might make an excuse not to go. There's lots of reasons, and they're not always meant to be hurtful, but to the other person they can end up being quite hurtful. Another possibility is that you see a friend or a relation or someone who you know they don't seem quite right. They've got something on the mind, and you could perhaps help them, and you don't because you've got so much on your own plate at the time, and you don't make that move. You don't give them that emotional connection that they might need at that moment. And it can also happen to you. You can be feeling really down, and it's obvious that your friend, your partner, brother, or whatever knows there's something wrong, and they don't reach out to you, and that is hurtful, and it is a betrayal of trust. Lots of little things can therefore erode your trust. It doesn't have to be the big things. Years ago, when I was, when my son was very young, I had a group of friends who I thought were really good friends. I thought they were friendships that would last for a lifetime, really, but when it come down to it, I put my trust in the wrong people, really, and they let me down badly. And it took me years and years and years before I trusted people again, even as friends. And it does take a betrayal of trust, does so much damage to people. So I think we've all got to think about how we could betray other people's trust, and how to be better friends, how to be better partners. But also, we need to get the same back ourselves, and if we're not getting it back, perhaps it's time to move on and find people who are worthy of our trust and who we can trust in return. Another thing that Brene points out is the importance of keeping other people's secrets. If we tell somebody something really personal, we don't particularly want it spread around, and therefore it's important not to listen to gossip about other people and not to pass on gossip. It's so important that if somebody tells you something in confidence, that confidence stays with you. I think she uses the analogy of a sort of vault that should be safe with you, that secret. And spreading rumours, spreading gossip is sometimes a way of making connections with other people. But if it's at the expense of someone else, it's not a good thing to do. So really, it's something that needs to be thought about. I think we've all been guilty of that at some time or other, even inadvertently, but it's important not to do it. So there are a lot of issues surrounding the issue of trust, and I think the main issue is not to be shortchanged in our relationships with people. We don't have to put up with people who we can't trust, let us down, walk over our feelings. We don't have to put up with that. And I think it's important to realise that. We don't have to fall out with people, but not let people walk over us. People like me, who are people pleasers, do sometimes let people walk over us because I don't like confrontation and I don't like falling out with people. But sometimes I think there's just times when you've got to go for it. You've got to do it. So anyway, thank you for listening. But we need to think about it is important to trust, but to put our trust in the right people and not the wrong people. So thank you and bye for now.